Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, suffered a complete and total collapse in multiple live television interviews this morning. This includes Newsmax. This includes Fox News. Where we are, big picture with Karoline Leavitt as the official mouthpiece for this administration, is that there is no way to tell the truth about what's going on and make the case that the economy is doing well and that the tariffs are making sense and that the jobs market is improving and that prices are going down. You can't tell the truth and make those claims because those claims aren't true. And so where is Karoline Leavitt left? Notice, by the way, not wearing her infamous huge cross necklace during these TV appearances. Apparently she knew she would be telling a lot of lies and Jesus might not like that one. She opted not to go with the cross, at least not visibly during these interviews. The solution is to just lie. For example, here is Karoline Leavitt telling provable lies about the track record of soybean exports to China in the United States with the theme of blaming the former President Joe Biden. What a surprise.
Another huge win for our farmers following his successful meeting with President Xi in South Korea, where Trump convinced President Xi to continue purchasing or begin purchasing again American soybeans, which is something China wasn't doing under the last administration because they had no respect for our President Biden.
Now, most of you, if you watch this show, if you listen to the podcast, you know that that's a lie. Soybean sales to China persisted during the Biden administration, and they persisted during the first few months of this Trump administration. And then Trump dumped the tariffs on China, and soybean exports to China went to zero. Chinese imports of soybeans remained level. They're just now getting them from other countries. And meanwhile, what Donald Trump has convinced President Xi to do is, after reducing exports of soybeans to zero with the tariffs, Trump has convinced China to start importing a little bit of soybean, way less than what they used to do. And much of it is a purchase order, as Scott Bessent likes to say, maybe for 2026, I guess. So she is just straight up lying. When the truth can't be spun in any way to make you look good, you just make it up. Newsmax host to Karoline Leavitt says that Donald Trump's farm bailout is funded by tax dollars, rather not funded by tax dollars, but funded by tariffs. The idea, of course, is, well, the tariff money that we're giving to the farmers for the bailout, it's coming from other countries. Of course, we all know that that's not true.
Yeah, Caroline, on the topic of affordability, I know one of the things that upsets a lot of folks is the price of groceries. And yesterday, President Trump announced a $9 billion aid package to support our farmers, strengthen the agriculture industry. And that's not just helping our farmers. It will pass down to people at the grocery store. This is a big deal. And it's also not funded by tax dollars. It's funded by tariffs.
That's right. Yes. Yesterday, here at the White House, President Trump met with a group of great farmers from around the country and announced $12 billion in relief for them. Again, funded.
The host says it's $9 billion. Karoline says it's $12 billion. Trump thought it was $12 billion, but Brooke Rollins said it's $11 billion. What's a few billion between friends, right? But the point here is, I'm so sorry to have to remind you of this, Karoline. Tariffs are import taxes paid by the importer. If you are ABC company and you import steel, you pay the tariff, not the country or the company that is sending you the steel. They are just lying because they've got nothing left. Big focus over the last 48 hours, which tells us they know how bad it's getting, on blaming Biden in general for the economy. They both want you to believe everything's awesome, but we're working on it because we were handed such a terrible economy from Joe Biden. Here she is putting that message out on Newsmax this morning.
Gas prices are at their lowest point right now than they have been in 5 years, and we do expect them to continue to decline as long as President Trump is here to drill, baby, drill. So all of these actions are actions President Trump took to build the greatest economy in history in his first term. It is working. It takes time because, as you pointed out, Mark, President Biden left President Trump with an absolute economic mess.
Now, a couple things. We are going to do more evaluation of this Biden claim. She says casually that gas prices are as low as they have been in 5 years. a very deceptive claim. First of all, here's a 5-year chart of gas prices, and you see a six-month period during which they were lower. You see the spike in 2022. And then otherwise, there have been many periods of gas prices being about as low as they are right now, and not to mention that Trump promised to bring them down, and he hasn't. She then went from Newsmax to Fox News. And on Fox News, she tries the exact same claim. The economy was terrible because of Biden when we took over.
Karoline, this is the president at his best when he's on the road talking with the American people. What can we anticipate him telling the folks on the road?
Sure. Well, we greatly look forward to going to Northeast Pennsylvania tonight, and President Trump is going to give a positive, economic-focused speech where he talks about all that he and his team has done to provide bigger paychecks and lower prices for the American people. And don't forget, a year ago, President Trump inherited the worst inflation crisis in modern American history from the Biden administration.
Now, remember that inflation was between 2.5 and 3 when Trump took over, and it has bounced between 2.5 and 3 since Donald Trump took over. The truth of the Biden economy, I'll give you everything, right? I won't hold back the bad stuff. Job creation, very strong under Biden. Unemployment, really low under Biden. Solid GDP growth. Real incomes, meaning wages relative to inflation, went up. Household prosperity went up on average. More insured Americans. The number of people without health insurance declined while Biden was president. No recession as inflation came down. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, no economy is perfect. Even though inflation came down under Biden, it was still positive. Prices still went up, and that strained household budgets. That's a reality. Growth was uneven in the sense that it was up and down depending on the quarter, and not everybody benefited equally. There is inequality in our economy. High cost of living continued to plague many Americans. There were trade-offs with a lot of these different stimulus policies. All right, so, it was a mixed bag, but a pretty solid economy under Biden. Certainly not the worst economy in the world, as she wants you to believe. And then finally, Karoline Leavitt dodges a question about, are we going to get the video of the boat attack, or aren't we?
Talk about what Secretary of War Pete Hegseth will be briefing the Gang of Eight, select House leaders as well as Senate, about what's going on with Venezuela. So, of course, there's this pressure to release the double tap, the second hit on that drug boat. And ultimately, the president says it's up to the Secretary of War whether he should do it or not. So your thoughts about releasing that tape?
Well, how refreshing that we have a commander-in-chief who trusts our Secretary of War and trusts Pentagon leadership to do the right thing by our warfighters. And I think it speaks to the depravity of the Democrat Party that they have stooped so low. They are attacking our military leadership. They are attacking the brave men and women who conducted these strikes well within the law, following the orders from their commander-in-chief. And let's not forget, these are drug boats. These are narco terrorists. And in 2024...
Oh, God, she's so pathetic. She doesn't answer the question, okay? She doesn't answer whether Trump is going to release the video after on December 3rd he said, yes, I'm going to release the video. It's getting harder and harder for Karoline Leavitt to even spin. She's now relegated simply to lying because the truth would be too damaging to this administration. A lot of people hit this point in December and realize I still need to find a thoughtful, genuine gift for someone on my list. And quickly, if that is you, Aura Frames can really help you out. Our sponsor, Aura, makes premium digital frames that beautifully display photos and videos. I've been using one myself for years. I've given Aura frames to my mom. I've given them to my dad. So many people. I preloaded them with baby photos, and they love it because they turn it on the first time and the pictures are there. Aura makes it really easy, not only with the preloading of photos, but you can keep adding them throughout the year with the app. There is plenty of time to get an Aura frame shipped before Christmas, and you'll get $35 off their best-selling Carver mat frames when you go to auraframes.com and use the code Pakman at checkout. The link is in the description.